Welcome to Raising Mommy, a podcast sanctuary where moms can come to listen, share, learn, and grow. I am your host, Kimberly Tyson, vegan blogger for eatplantsforlife.com, wife and mom of two. We're going to dive into today's segment, Real Chat. The name says it all. Real Chat is a judgment-free discussion where moms, and today teens, share candid experiences and views on a particular subject, and professionals provide an expert description and advice on and resources for the Real Chat topic of the day. Here in the studio for our Real Chat discussion, we will be interviewing high school students and sharing a middle schooler's experience and opinion about our topic of today. I am joined in the studio by high school senior Jillian. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you are a senior.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How's that going for you?
Good. I'm still trying to decide where I'm going to college. So,
do you know what you want to do?
I want to be a journalist.
Okay. So Jillian is actually an Appen Media Group intern, and this is your second semester with us?
Yes.
Awesome. So how's the internship?
It's fun. I like it. It gives me good experience on what I want to do.
So we'll have to have you back on the show when we talk about internships and how important they are.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did one in college. I didn't do one in high school, but I did one in college, and it was the best decision I made as far as my college career, because I mean, you learn things in school, but
you
actually
don't get the hands-on experience.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So today's topic is titled The Middle and High School Level Vaping Epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the discussion, what is vaping? According to centerofaddiction.org, vaping is the act of inhaling and exhaling the aerosol or vapor produced by an e-cigarette or similar device. The e-cigarette does not produce tobacco smoke, but rather an aerosol that it resembles water vapor, but in fact contains fine particles. According to the FDA, vapes, vaporizers, vape pens, hookah pens, electric cigarettes, e-cigarettes or e-cigs, and e-pipes are some of the many terms used to describe electronic nicotine delivery systems, or ENDS. These products use an e-liquid that may contain nicotine, as well as varying composites of flavorings, propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and other ingredients. The liquid is heated to create an aerosol that the user inhales. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, in 2015, e-cigarette use among high schoolers increased 900%. Wow.
Yeah, it sounds accurate.
According to truthinitiative.org, kids who vape are 4 times more likely to go on to use regular cigarettes. Because tobacco use in the U.S. is still the leading cause of preventable death and disease, it has caused a big concern among parents and educators. According to the FDA's website, fda.gov, in 2018, among middle and high schoolers, 3.6 million were current users of e-cigarettes. E-cigarette use from the 2017 to 2018 increased 78% among high school students, so it went from 11.7% to 20.8%, and 48% among middle school students from 2017 to 2018. In a 2013 to 2014 survey, 81% of current e-cigarette users cited that the availability of appealing flavors as the primary reason for use. Studies show that 80% of youth do not see vaping as harmful, possibly because the e-cigarette does not produce tobacco smoke, but rather an enticing vaping flavor. So my questions for you is, when did you first hear about vaping?
I think, honestly, I was just starting my junior year of high school.
Oh.
I knew that people did it, but I was really never around it until junior year, because it became more available for students to get. When I was in middle school, I didn't even know what vaping was. And honestly, I'm so thankful for that, because it's ruining people. It makes people lose weight. I've seen that commonly.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's upsetting. And it makes you lose your appetite. And I didn't hear about it until my junior year.
Wow.
Which I'm forever thankful for.
Wow. Yeah. So you started hearing about it your junior year. Do your current friends vape?
Not particularly my friends,
Mhm.
but wherever I go, there's always going to be somebody that has one or talks about it or uses one, which I don't agree with. But if you're at somebody's house, like hanging out with someone,
Mhm.
like, and they're doing it, like, I wouldn't obviously do it, but if they're doing it, like, whatever. I don't.
So do you have, like, let's say you're at a party or something and someone is doing it. How do you usually know? Do you smell the vapor?
They don't make it hard to see. Like,
Okay.
they make it really obvious. And that's basically the one. It doesn't smell.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on what they're vaping. And like, if they're using the Juul, it
Okay.
doesn't smell.
Oh,
But if they're using like one of those giant ones, it mostly does smell.
you can tell.
Yeah.
Okay. So are they talking about it in high school, like in health class or anything? Are they addressing it?
I haven't taken health since I was a freshman.
Okay.
So obviously I had no idea. I mean, I knew what vaping was by high school, but it wasn't in our high school. Or
Okay.
if it was, I had no clue about it.
Okay.
So
All right. So let's see. After you found out about it in your junior year, were you ever approached by a friend who wanted you to try it?
I've made it very obvious to people that I'm not interested in it, and they respect it. Like, it's not like they're forcing me to do it.
Right.
Because I have way better things in my life that I need to focus on, like my internship and my sports and my schoolwork. And if that comes in the way of it, they know that I would never want to try something like that. So people are really respectful. I mean, they don't peer pressure you into doing it, which is nice. At least the people that I know that do it.
So have you seen any of the latest campaigns they're running for anti-vaping? So where are you seeing them?
I've seen them in downtown Atlanta. They have billboards.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it on social media. There's sometimes on Instagram I'll be scrolling through and there'll be an ad. Snapchat too. On TV they have them. The ones I've seen are called The Real Cost. And it's like the ones where it's like puts vaping in your head, like that kind of thing. I don't think it particularly changes people's opinions about vaping, but it just makes mine a little bit stronger.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what do you think is, how do you think that your friends that or associates that do vape, how do you think they're getting hold of the product?
I know that most gas stations sell it, and I don't think they ID people. And if they do, most people are 18 by now, or a good population. Or like if, let's say I wanted some and I had a friend who is 18 because I'm not 18, I'd be like, hey, can you go buy this for me? And they just go in with their ID, not even a fake ID, and just buy it.
Wow.
And also Amazon, I'm pretty sure websites like that sell them.
Okay.
Which is a shame.
And they're not, figuring out how old the or buyer is. So.
I don't think so.
Wow. Okay. So do you have any advice for kids that are considering it or thinking about it, especially the middle schoolers, because they always look to the high schoolers for opinions and advice?
Honestly, when I was in middle school, I could never imagine that kind of thing being in my middle school. Like, I bet it is now. But when I was there was no concern whatsoever. And I loved that. Like, looking back on it, I'm so happy that it wasn't at Northwestern when I was there, because that's just horrible. And I wouldn't want to grow up that way. And I hope that other kids don't want to grow up that way either. So if they're considering trying it, I would basically think about everything else that you have to do in your life. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a job, I have sports. Like, if my coach hears about it, if I was doing it, or you guys, like if somebody found out, I'm done.
Right.
So like, I honestly think that I'm smart enough to know like the consequences. And I think that a lot of people that do it don't understand what could happen, or do it to be cool, or do it like in the spur of the moment, which I think it is not worth it whatsoever.
Right.
So.
It sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
To keep you busy enough to not have to worry about vaping and things that can have a toll on your body later.
Right. Because if colleges find out, like any sort of thing like that, I could be just, that would ruin my life. Yeah. So
you're excited about the end of senior year in the summer?
I'm excited, but I'm also kind of sad.
Leaving your friends or?
Leaving my family.
Oh, okay. So for sure you want to go away to college.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you'll get used to it. It'll be a different experience.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went away to college, and the first couple of weeks were
Hard.
a little, yeah, but after that, it's like,
I'm ready.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that you're one of our interns. Obviously, you're doing a great job because you
Thank you.
were asked to come back for a second semester.
That's true.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your senior year
Thank
and
you.
beyond. And thanks for being a guest on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Joining me next in the studio will be two more high schoolers, but they're juniors, Alex and Anur. We are in the studio with two juniors. They're actually interns at Appen Media Group, Ainor and Alexandria. Welcome to the Raising Mommy podcast. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting us, I guess.
So we're going to continue our discussion on vaping, and I'll start with asking, when was your first experience with the question of vaping? Like, were your friends talking about it in middle school, or did it start in high school?
For me, it just started in high school. I didn't know anything about it in middle school.
Okay.
I think the popularity began when we hit high school. But, like, middle schoolers right now, it would be, like, kind of a popular topic among them, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because in high school, when we were in health class, they'd talk about alcohol and weed and LSD, acid, hard drugs like that. But I guess vaping never became a real thing for us until like freshman year.
Okay.
But especially because I do have a younger sister who goes to the middle school that I used to go to, she's become more aware like earlier on than I was about vaping.
Right. For me, like, I took health my first semester freshman year of high school. And even then, I don't think they even mentioned vaping at all. I think it became new, like 2017-ish, like end of that.
And do your friends vape?
None of mine do, but like none of my close friends do, and I don't either. But there's like definitely people that I know who do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a few friends who do vape, and they have offered me, Juul pods and stuff, but I've never vaped before because of like how I understand that like how drugs have affected my family, and not like soft drugs, but like hardcore drugs. But I see vaping as sort of like a gateway or like a path leading down there. So I just don't want to get involved in that.
Okay.
For me, it's like a religious thing. So like my family, it's like in my religion particularly, it's frowned down upon to like do anything that's like artificially like stimulating like drugs and stuff. So I don't partake in that, and I don't plan on doing that at all.
So you see it as something harmful?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you think the people that you associate with, do you think they see it as harmful?
I don't think they consider the long term like right now, because they understand that there are health risks, but they'll always be like, oh, we're 16, 17 now. That's like to worry about in our 40s or whatever. But just the thought of like death and cancer and all those risks, they scare me too much for me to even take the risk.
Right, me too. For me, it's like the people around me. Like, I've talked to other people about, like, do you know the risk of it, like, long term? Are you, like, doing it carefully? Like, if you're doing it safely, if you're even doing it. And they say that they're doing it safely, but I don't think that they're actually aware of how to do it safely. Because for vaping, it's such a new thing that scientifically there's no proven way to do it safely, or there's no like hard like long-term effects that are like tested yet. And they don't, and like originally vaping came out as a thing that would like limit smoking, and like it's like less harmful than smoking, but that isn't scientifically proven yet.
Right.
So no one really knows what the actual harms are. So teenagers, I think, just kind of they overlook that factor.
And I think that what they probably don't realize is it's usually a precursor to smoking,
Right.
which is harmful.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you seen any of the latest anti-vaping campaigns?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely increased this year in our schools with like posters in the bathrooms.
Okay.
They sort of like make puns like, oh, you come here to do like number 1 and number 2. But then like they show a picture of like a vape and say like, oh, this has chemicals number blah and number blah. And like it doesn't really work because you can tell kids, oh, these are the chemicals inside that'll harm you. But if they go on Instagram and see like celebrities making like fun O-rings with it and seeing all like the smoke tricks they can do, it's sort of overlays the risks, you know, like having fun with all the smoke and just getting, I guess, a little high off of it. They don't really consider like the health risks to be that serious compared to the fun and like popularity.
Yeah, like as I was saying, no one really knows anything solid, so they don't take it. They're like, oh, so if these higher like scientists, like officials, like don't know like the actual effects, like they don't know, then why would we know, type of thing.
They need more concrete information. Okay, so what would you say to a middle schooler who is, because I know that my kids are in middle school and they're seeing more and more about vaping in their age group. What would you say to them?
As a older sister, I think that I would not, like, obviously I wouldn't advise them to do it, but if their friends are doing it or like the people around them are doing it, I just like want them to be like safe, kind of. So if they're aware that someone around them is doing that sort of thing, I would just like say like step back a little bit.
I would probably encourage them to just like have their own like identity and like take control of that, because a lot of people will talk about how peer pressure is like a really strong influence on people. But the thing is that even though not majority of my friends, like not majority vape, but some vape, and just because they've offered and I've declined, they haven't stopped being friends with me.
Okay.
Like they respect my choice, and like I tell them like you can choose not to and you can choose to, and I won't stop being friends with you because of it. But because of my younger sister in middle school, I want her to like not be influenced as much by her friends, and like have her understand that she can make the choice and she doesn't need to feel pressured to do that.
Where do you think they're getting the vaping products from?
Well, obviously it's kind of accessible to people that are, I think it's like 18 that you can get it. So if you have like an older sibling, or if your friend has an older sibling or something, they would get it from those people. So it's not really hard to get it as it is like to get like alcohol or something, which is like over 21. There's people that are in high school that are like 18 type of thing.
Okay.
Definitely. Like I know this past weekend, one of my friends, well, more acquaintances, and she's a senior, she just turned 18, and she like made a post on Instagram on one of her less followed accounts, like for closer friends, like, yay, now I'm 18, I can like go buy these things and sell them to like freshmen. So obviously, because there are jokes about it, it is a real thing that older kids will go out to like stores that are a bit known to be relaxed on their policies, and then buy them for freshmen who just want to like get in on the hype.
Now, I'm assuming your school has an anti-drug vaping policy. Do you know what the offenses, like first, second, third offenses?
I don't think there's like, I don't know. I haven't seen like a set like concrete policy, like, oh, if a teacher has caught you doing this or this, there's this type of consequence. I think it's just a matter of like them sending you to like the principal, and then they determine it based on like what the actual event was.
And I think part of the problem too with not just punishments, but like detection, because some kids will get them without their parents knowing, and some Juul pods or Juuls, they look like flash drives, and you can plug them into laptops. So I know a friend who like her mom picked it up and said, "What is this?" And she was like, "Oh no, it's just a flash drive," and plugged it into her laptop. So like teachers aren't aware that these things can just be on keychains and all that. So when they find them, they're not able to detect them. And if they do find them, it's like, what is the punishment for this? Because you're not using it in school. There's a difference between like using it in the bathrooms and just carrying it with them. And I'm pretty sure that we give in-school suspension if you're caught using it in the bathroom. But beyond that, I don't think there's any like expulsion from school because of like just possessing it.
Okay.
It's such like a new thing where there's policies for like if you've like skipped class, or like if you haven't done your homework, if you copy and cheat, like stuff like that. But it's so new that there's not any sort of policy for just like vaping in general. It's just kind of like it's just like a known thing that you shouldn't be doing that in school.
I wonder if it would be treated as a drug or inhalant.
Yeah.
That same type of offense. Well, I did speak with a local middle school principal. He says that health classes do address alcohol, all legal drug use, and all inhalants, including vaping. And here are some of the consequences for possession or personal use on campus. And I'm sure it probably applies at the high school level. First offense, minimum 10 days of out-of-school suspension, and they will contact the Department of Public Safety. With the first offense, students and parents may choose to reduce the suspension by 3 days by attending a Saturday class called GRIP, gaining results in intervention and prevention program or a similar program. Second offense, minimum 10 days OSS plus a recommendation for long-term suspension for the semester, and they contact the Department of Public Safety. Third offense, minimum 10 days OSS plus a recommendation for expulsion for 1 calendar year, and they contact the Department of Public Safety. So I'm assuming that it's probably going to be close to what they would expect in high school. Well, so you guys are juniors. Are you ready for your senior year?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Are you? Do you have any plans? I know it's still a little early, but after graduation, any plans on what you want to do? I'm assuming it has something to do with journalism since you're working at
Yeah.
Appen. So you want to go into journalism?
Yeah.
That sounds good. You're the class of 2020. That's a huge deal. I mean, I was the class of 2000 for college, and that was huge. But 2020, that's a huge deal.
It's a cute number.
It is. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you
you.
stopping in and sharing your thoughts, being candid with us, and letting us know that it does exist, which parents need to know, teachers need to know. Hoping that you guys will come back and talk about your internships more and how important internships are to kids in high school who are seeking to go into certain careers. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, just so that I have all middle school and high school experiences covered, I recently spoke with an eighth grade middle schooler who wanted to share her experience with vaping. And this is what she had to say. First, she did not know that vaping was until her parents warned her about all situations that she'd be faced with before starting middle school. So she knew what to expect from her peers beforehand, and then there was less surprise. She started hearing about vaping from peers in 7th grade, has seen more incidents of its use, and has even been offered to try it in 8th grade. She has seen it in other students' possession and has smelled the vapor on other students. She says that she sees more male peers with vaping products or with the smell of the vapor on them than female peers. She says that the peers that are vaping are receiving vaping products from older siblings. She says that it was addressed in her health class via a documentary. She says the curiosity to try it is there, but she says that her reasons for not trying it are due to warnings from her parents and her teachers. She says her desire to not poison herself with the things that will have long-term negative effects on her body is greater than her curiosity. Which brings us to the next topic. What is being done about this trend-epidemic? The FDA has continued to take steps to make it less appealing and accessible to youth. In 2018, new regulations have been put in place for e-cigarette and vaping manufacturers and retailers. Such regulations or legal responsibilities include clear and visible warning labels on front and back of the product. For example, it'll say, warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. In November of 2018, the FDA issued warning labels or warning letters to e-cigarette retailers in selling the nicotine-containing e-liquids used to vape to not resemble enticing kid-friendly products like candy, peanut butter and jelly, etc. The FDA has cited several manufacturers for using enticing packaging like juice boxes, cereal boxes, candy, and cookies. For example, there is an e-liquid called Cereal Treats Charms, which resembles the look of the cereal Lucky Charms, or Cereal Treat Loops, which resembles the cereal Fruit Loops. Many cartoon characters are on the packaging as well, which is pretty deceptive. I call it get them when they're young and keep them for life marketing. FDA's The Real Cost campaign, which launched in 2014, was created to educate teens on the harmful effects of cigarette smoking. In 2018, the campaign expanded its mission to include educating teens on the dangers of e-cigarette use. Using various anti-cigarette ads, the campaign targets 10.7 million youth aged 12 to 17 who have tried it or are open to the idea. They're reaching youth through a new series of online video ads, digital and social media content, and posters in high school bathrooms. Research shows that the Real Cost campaign prevented an estimated 350,000 teens aged 11 to 18 from initiating smoking between 2014 and 2016, half of whom might have gone on to become established adult smokers. Ultimately, by preventing these kids from becoming established smokers, the campaign has saved them, their families, and the country more than $31 billion by reducing smoking-related costs like early loss of life, costly medical care, lost wages, low productivity, and increased disability. So what can parents do? Talk to your high schoolers, talk to your middle schoolers, and start the conversation with your rising sixth grade students that are heading to middle school in the fall. Give them the facts, give them again, remind them again, and keep the conversation going. And if your child is vaping, please visit fda.org for more information and truthinitiative.org for more information and to sign up for their new e-cigarette quit program. Users can text QUIT to 202-804-9884 to receive text messages and tips for quitting and daily motivation. It's free and anonymous. And I actually wanted to test that out, so I did just that. I text QUIT to the number I gave you, and I quickly got a response that says, to start quitting e-cigarettes or Juul, we need to know how old you are. The response options were A, B, C, D, or E. A, if you're under 13, B, if you're 13 to 17, C, if you're 18 to 24, D, if you're over 24, or E, if you're a parent wanting to help your child. I decided to pick B, 13 to 17, just to see if it was anonymous and if I could trust it. So this is the reply that I got. It says, text to help quitting, vaping, smoking, e-cigarettes, whatever you call it. It's coming right up. And then my next text read, I'm here to help you quit. Ready to quit? Text back the date that you want to quit. And we'll send you one message per day in tips. Not sure? That's cool. Let's do 2 weeks together to help you figure it out. So I text today's date, and they text back, awesome. I've got your quit date for February the 4th, 2019. One message per day for 30 days to see you through this. So this is a pretty good way to quit e-smoking. I think it's great for anyone who smokes who wants to quit too. Now it's time for Off the Cuff Kids, a segment of the show that highlights the random things that our kids say, text, or do. It can be endearing, funny, jaw-dropping, heartfelt, but of course, random and unexpected. This week, I actually have one from Tamika and her 7-year-old Alana. She was in her Sunday school class and she wanted to write a letter to God. So I entitled this, Dear God. And it reads, Dear God, I love you so much. Will you keep me from bad things? God, one day I will be just like you. I hope you get this letter. God, may you please shine your light on us. Love, Alana. Keep those comments coming. Thank you, Tamika, for sharing your off-the-cuff kids moment. And thank you to the guests that I had on the show today for being so candid. And hopefully this vaping issue will cease. Be sure to find Raising Mommy anywhere you listen to podcasts. Check out new episodes every Saturday. Follow us on Twitter at RaisingMommyGA. Search for me on Facebook and Instagram at eatplantsforlife.com or Raising Mommy Podcast. Don't forget to email me those off-the-cuff kids segment moments at raisingmommy@appenmediagroup.com and share. If your comment is chosen for a future show, you will win a gift card. Remember, first names only, and please include the age or grade of your child. If you have a screenshot of the text or note or photo of the deed, please also include it. As always, thanks for listening.